You watch it. Speak for yourself. Presented by the Popeyes Chicken Sandwich. I'm yum. Hello and welcome, Marcellus.
You sound good.
Wiley here.
Great. Popeye Chicken Sandwich always sounds good.
Oh, I'm in the building with Emmanuel Acho.
Hey, 50 Shades of Red.
I love
That's
it.
what I feel like we got going on.
What happened? What happened? You're in the already worn section. You already ran out of your bag. You on part 2. Rerun over there.
He called me out, but I got 18 new suits that just came in. I'm coming with heat for y'all the rest of the season.
Everybody always said that at school when they got caught out. All right, let's get it started with the Cowboys, who have big expectations coming into the 2020 season. Dallas missed the playoffs last year and haven't been to the Super Bowl in 25 years. New head coach Mike McCarthy said recently, quote, "We're in this to win a championship. Make no bones about it." Ezekiel Elliott knows the Cowboys have the roster to get it done. Take a listen to Zeke.
This is probably the most talented team I've been on. Look at the depth chart. Look at the roster. Just look how many, Pro Bowlers, how many All-Pro guys we have out there. And, I think it's just unmatched.
Bull. So Acho, is a Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys this year?
Yo, it is Super Bowl or bust for them boys.
It is?
It is,
yes.
but it is, absolutely. But think about this. If you're a Cowboys fan, this is a Super Bowl roster. If I'm the head, first off, you got a head coach who doesn't back down. He said, if you're not in it for the Super Bowl, what are you in it for? Mike McCarthy, that's what he said. If you're not trying to win the Super Bowl, I don't even know what you're doing in this business. But now let's talk about these boys. You got a quarterback who's a top 8 quarterback. If you're a Cowboys fan, he's a top 5 quarterback.
Who has ever walked around saying, I'm top 8?
I'm saying you got a top 5 quarterback in Dak. You got
top 5 in the NFL?
Let Cowboys fans tell it. I think he's top 10, but let Cowboys fans tell it.
From Dallas.
Fine, Marcellus.
Now it's showing.
Let me start my rant.
Yeah, start over your rant.
Let me start my rant. You got a top 10 quarterback in Dak. That's fair.
There we go.
You got a top 5 running back in Zeke. That's fair.
Yeah.
You got a top 5 offensive line in their offensive line. Stop. They're top 5 offensive line. You got a top 5 receiving core. You could go top 3 receiving core between CD, Amari, and Michael Gallup. Okay, let's talk about the defense. You got probably the best young linebacking tandem between Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch. You got 2.
When healthy.
DeMarcus Lawrence, Everson Griffin, 2 dudes that gave you 13 and 14 sacks just 2 years ago.
What about last year? What about last year?
Chill. Stop that nonsense.
I do homework, too.
So, if you're a Cowboys fan, if you're Zeke, I understand where he's coming from. Think about this, bro. Zeke's rookie year, 2016, Cowboys were 13-3. If he's saying that this is a better roster than that roster, it has to be Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys.
Oh, my God. Hell no, it's not Super Bowl or bust. Matter of fact, it's not that for any team ever.
That's a lie.
That is Emmanuel Acho, who's over there sweating already. I can see I got you on these ropes, boy.
It's hot in the studio. Okay, it's hot.
What you want. I thought you were clean and cool right there. This is Mr. Hot Take. I'm an analyst. This is what they do when you want to go out there and make a declaration for the clicks. How the hell are you going to say that this team right now, who hasn't been to the playoffs last couple of years, let's talk about this team. Acho, you know what you were doing last time the Cowboys were in the playoffs? What were you doing? Covering those Kansas, Iowa State games in the Big 12? Like, this team is talent-laden. Yes, they are rich in talent. But when has talent ever added up to making you the champion? Think about it. The New England Patriots just ran off a dynasty. And every single player, you've been through it as well, looked at the Patriots and said, I don't see the talent over there, but what I see is the results. And if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, what we're not seeing is the results. We're not looking at this team as it is greater than the sum of its parts. We're seeing a team last year that was 8-8. Well, basically the same roster. They're just praying now that they're going to get healthy and the offensive line can stay healthy and not just use their name because they're getting old, they're getting porous because of those injuries. I just don't see it adding up in your mind. I see it happening on the field. But when you add up just talent, it always comes up short, bro.
But think about this, Marcellus, because you're right when you talk about the sum of the parts. But I think about if you throw me in the kitchen and you put me in that kitchen with some flour, some sugar, couple eggs, some milk, some baking soda, I'm gonna be in there cooking. I'm gonna be trying to make a cake or something.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna be able to do it because I'm not a masterful chef. you see, I'm going to be in there spilling stuff all over the place. That was Jason Garrett. But if you throw me in there with them same ingredients and you put a chef that's competent in this kitchen behind that stove, they might make you a multi-layered cake. Mike McCarthy is coming in here, is supposed to be the masterful chef. You gave Mike McCarthy, who won a Super Bowl before, a coach with Super Bowl pedigree, you're coming in here and giving him a QB like Dak Prescott, a running back like Zeke, quarterbacks, receivers galore. I mean, you just gave him, he had Amari plus Michael Gallup, and then you gave him a freaking CeeDee Lamb, a dude who arguably was the best receiver in college football last year.
That they didn't need.
They didn't need, but
they didn't need receivers.
So now on the flip side, you look at the defense, and you gave him a guy in Everson Griffin, already coupled with DeMarcus Lawrence. Oh, by the way, a 30-year-old Alden Smith, who when he's not in trouble, Dude was about to walk into the Hall of Fame. I mean, he had 19 and a half sacks his sophomore season. That's stupid. So you gave him that on the flip side, and I don't want to hear no excuses about the secondary, because you can get Earl Thomas right now on a Black Friday sale for the team. I mean, real talk. So I don't want to hear no excuses about their secondary. So if you're a Cowboys fan, you have to demand the Super Bowl this year, because if not now, then when?
Oh, you demand it and it just appears. That's how the game goes.
No, with talent and coaching, it appears.
Not even with just talent. There's another variable that we're not respecting that is bigger than chemistry. It's the fact that first make the damn playoffs. Like, how are we going to just skip the step of early round playoffs and just say they're going to be Super Bowl or bust? I just think it's absurd expectations, and it doesn't sound realistic. Let's bring in somebody who knows a thing or two about the NFL. Our guy, Lavar Arrington. So, Lavar, excuse me, high top from Colors. Is it Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys this year?
Well, first of all, Pinky Acho Jr. came in hot. He must have been off that yak, because he is way off on what his assessment of this is, all right? Think about this. How old are you, Acho?
Right 29.
Right 29.
Baby.
Think about this. You were 5 years old the last time Dallas made an appearance in the NFC Championship round of the playoffs. You know, there's only two other teams that fit that billing of elitism, and that's the Washington football team and the team in Detroit. Detroit, stand up, Detroit, right? So here's my thing. It can't be Super Bowl or bust for the Dallas Cowboys. It sounds good to the fan base to sell the hope of it's Super Bowl or bust. I get what's going on here. This is all rhetoric. This is advertising and marketing at its finest. I don't give it any type of credence, no type of relativity whatsoever. I look at this as the Dallas Cowboys need to just work on having a successful year. Great that you have the greatest roster that you've had.
Wait. Somebody bring me on camera. Somebody bring me on. Come on. Here's the thing, Lavar.
Colors.
You told us, Lavar, what y'all don't know if y'all just now watching, Lavar is a high school football coach.
Not a good one.
That's correct.
And you were 13 and 10 overall.
I've been in the playoffs. I got 2 seasons in, and I got 2 playoff appearances.
Everybody getting the playoffs.
That was some real 13 and 10 talk you just gave me, Lavar. The Cowboys, they just need to focus on having a good season and hitting the ball off. Heck no! That's not what you play the game for. You know way better than me, sir. And I can tell by that chain, because that chain around your neck wasn't cheap. You had a much more illustrious career. You should know better than anybody. You don't just play the game just to play the game. Come on,
you
Lavar.
don't. But you got to be realistic. You don't play the game just to play the game. But ask Marcellus the realistic aspect of going to the playoffs, going to the Super Bowl, and going home before the season gets to the end in Super Bowl, whatever number it may be. It's not easy. I played in the playoffs twice in my career, twice in 7 years, and it's not easy to make it to the playoffs. So while you're not strapping up to just play the regular season and go home, you also got to be realistic. If you haven't been there and you haven't done it, you got to try to get to where you first need to get to, which is the playoffs, and then stay there. And let's try to make it to a NFC championship before we start talking Super Bowl.
The Cowboys were just in the playoffs 2 years ago, gentlemen. Marcellus, 2 years.
Championship round.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not tremendous success in that. Remember, they came out there to L.A., played the Rams, and that didn't go so well. Actually, Ezekiel, 47 yards on 20 carries, and now he's the one at the podium saying this is the most talented roster. We're going to potentially do things this year. We'll see how that talent translates. Nino Brown was right in terms of what Lavar is saying. I hear you, Nino. The playoffs is a different season, just like the preseason is a different season than the regular season. It's amazing to watch these mammals, all 53 of them, get even faster, more intense by the season. Preseason, the regular season, postseason. I was in the postseason 3 times. One and done each one of those times. But in those one playoff games every one of those 3 years, I noticed, whoa, this is a whole different animal out here. So one thing you shouldn't do is ever talk about talent to the football gods, because the football gods sit there and say, how dare you not think you have to work for this? Just think everything I gave you is enough. I will condemn you. Name the last talent-laden team to win it all. Like the one we walked into the seat saying, look at that team. Good Lord, they're going to win it all. We didn't even say that about Kansas City last year. Don't lie.
I would say Broncos.
Don't lie.
I would say Broncos 2015. Peyton Manning, Broncos.
I don't know about that.
Okay. I had to challenge you.
That's a good challenge, but it's too rare to sit there and say the equation goes talent plus talent equals championship.
Fair.
And that's, to me, too lazy right there.
Well,